Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where the orchard of wisdom shows are at your fingertips. It ignites your soul, your heart, your spirit, your mind, and your body with illumination from people who have made the journey before you. They're here now to help you on your journey, on your path of self-discovery. We are funded by you, the audience, and the people we interview. If you wish to support us, please go to selfdiscoverymedia.com and press on our Fund Action button. Anything is appreciated. We'd like you to sit back and enjoy the shows. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of An Author's Kiss right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and an old host from way back in the past is wonderful Dina Marais from South Africa, and she has put together an absolutely wonderful program. What she has done is she's gathered a whole load of ladies, and they've put chapters together in a book called My Mess is My Message. I've already interviewed two other people who contributed to this book. But this is the conductor, the person who's put it all together. She is also in publishing and coaching. She's taken a wonderful redirect in her life and loving what she's doing right now. She says, elevate your brand, visibility, and income by becoming a best-selling author. Her passion is to support successful female entrepreneurs to take their business to the next level because of the ripple effect of their expansion to raise vibration on the planet. Becoming a best-selling author is one of the best strategies to accomplish this. She is the founder of Soul Purpose Publishing and Coaching, and she's the #1 international best-selling author of the multi-author book, My Mess is My Message. She works with successful entrepreneurs to elevate their brand, their visibility, their income, the impact on what it means to be a best-selling author. She's also a certified quantum leap transformational coach. She specializes in soul alignment for business success. And with 2 decades of neuro coaching experience and her own journey of healing, of feeling the fear of unworthiness, oh my goodness, that we all go through that, she believes that it's the biggest obstacle to success. She created 5 steps to manifest a new reality as a process and a system that she uses in her coaching programs. She's passionate about expanding the consciousness of the world through her books and her coaching. Welcome, welcome, Dina. It's been so long, my love, but it's wonderful to have you back here again.
It is absolutely awesome. Thank you. I'm going to
Oh.
follow your lead. I'm going to take off these glasses. I think they glitter.
Yes, yes, yes. They'll go back on when I need to read something. In the meantime, no. But you were a host with us for a short while. I know at that time the internet was absolutely horrible in South Africa, and so it was really, really hard for you to kind of get the material to us, etc. Because I know it was a battle, and hopefully things are better there as far as the internet is concerned. But you've gone off in different directions anyway, which is wonderful and exciting to do. So where was your pivot? Where was that, I love what I'm doing, but I know I can go into a different level. When did that happen?
Well, it happened last year, actually. I've been happily, merrily going along my coaching journey and, helping people to manifest the next level of business. And suddenly I got this opportunity to become a publisher. And that actually felt like a reaction in my body, because years before I read a book by Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist.
I love him, yeah.
And when I read that book, I made like a wish to the universe to say, I would love to create stories like this. And of course, I never did. I never took the time to actually write it. So when this came across my path, it felt like it was like the combination of that two, of everything together. And I just knew this is the next phase. This is the next phase.
I love it when that happens. So, Adina, you've done many, many things in your life and you love what you have done, but obviously you've pivoted in a new direction now with publishing and coaching and putting the two together. When did this pivot happen for you?
Sarah, actually, it happened last year. I was merely working on my coaching. And then I got this opportunity out of the blue to become a publisher. And that actually created a reaction in my body, because it was like my soul speaking to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because years before, I read the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And after reading that, I was just so inspired, and I made a wish to the universe, and I said, I want to create stories like this.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I can create stories like this. And of course, I never wrote anything, maybe some nonfiction or whatever, but never wrote inspiring stories like that. And, I totally forgot about it. So when this came over my path, I just knew,
Yes.
this is it. I must do this.
And I'm glad you paid attention to it, because so many people go, yes, and then the head steps in. But, as you put in your bio, in the opening part, the unworthiness steps in. Oh, I can't do that. I'm not Apollo. I'm not a Oprah. I'm not a this and that. Who's going to read me? Who's going to do that? And we go through all of that dialogue of feeling that, we're not worthy. And really, every single person's story is important, because it's part of the ingredient as a humanity in life. If we understood each other's story, we'd be inspired by it, and that inspiration begets invitation for us to share our stories, or be willing to participate in our own story, because so many people seem to be on pause or have kind of given up and they don't know where to go. Somebody else's story becomes that illumination that can be that inspiration, that can give them maybe the how, or the push, or the encouragement to believe they have a story in their life, and if they participate, it can come to fruition.
Yes, absolutely. And also, by reading someone else's story, we identify with it.
Mm-hmm.
We can see ourselves in it, maybe not even fully, but in elements of it. And that it definitely takes us on a journey, and we see possibilities where we didn't before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is important. That is so important. And just by the way, that same opportunity came by me 3 times before I said yes.
The tap on the shoulder, the nudge, nudge, the wink, wink. At least you
Yes.
didn't get the cosmic 2x4.
Yes. I think I just missed that.
Finally, you paid attention. Yes. But it does happen like that, doesn't it? It does happen in a way that I think kind of the first time is planting the seed. The second time is watering that seed. And that third time is, well, are you going to pick it?
Yes. Yes. It's here right in front of you.
Yeah,
Can't
exactly.
make it any better.
Right. Unless you're going to get the cosmic 2x4. Yeah. And, I think also in that time of allowing that seed to grow, the whole, well, why not me? Or, why not do this? And all that head chatter kind of starts falling away, and the heart and the soul is the voice of the heart and the soul really comes out a great deal louder, doesn't it?
It does, and when I decided I'm going to do this, I just immediately had the first title. It just came to me.
Yeah.
I had no doubt about that.
Yeah.
About that title. So it was like it was planted in me.
Just waiting to be ignited.
Waiting.
Yes.
And I did have those thoughts about, gosh, who is going to join this book? Who is going to, and in the end, I realized and I decided that this book was bigger than me.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I let go completely. And I said, listen, I'm going to let go. And I trust that everybody who actually signs up for it are the right authors.
Exactly. And, the thing is when you allow, when you send out the invitation and you allow, that is when actually things start coming, really coming in. They're the right things to come in, right? Because you've sent out the good vibrations, And now it's the people that are on that same vibe that understand that message.
Exactly.
They're the ones that are going to, connect with you. And you know that it's going to then be, the right people.
Absolutely. And you know what's really amazing, and this is a total example of that, is that I didn't know the people who came onto the book.
Mm.
I knew maybe one or two or three, but the majority of them, we didn't know each other.
Right.
And yet they felt called to actually do their thing, to write their story and invest in the book.
Mm.
That was absolutely amazing to me. The moment I let go,
Yes,
things started to flow.
well, we always say the only control we have is that we let go of. Because this thing that we have things in control, ha ha ha, right?
Absolutely.
We
It's
can.
such a false.
Oh, it is. It's this control. Yeah, right. It doesn't happen very much at all, but we can control what we do with it. But why we're doing it, or whom we're doing it with, that very often is just out of our control. I've already had a couple of your authors on. I've had Irina on, and I'm trying to actually remember who is the other person that I had on.
Magnet, Dr.
Yes,
Meg Ryan.
Yes, Meg Ryan, that's right. And she's been on as well. And both of them have shared with me exactly what it meant to contribute that chapter. That it in writing it opened up their own heart and souls. Revealed something inside of them that they didn't know was there. That they didn't know they had this to say.
Yes.
And sometimes, it's just that, again, that allowing, okay, I'm going to do it. I don't know what I'm going to write, but then stepping into that allow and letting your heart and soul reveal itself.
Yes, absolutely. And what's really amazing is that writing your story, it's, as you just mentioned, it's actually such a transformation.
Yeah.
Because you're now compelled to put things on paper that you didn't maybe even tell anybody before. But for the story to make sense and, to have that flow, is you've got to reveal the details.
Yes.
But at the same time, you think, I'm such a badass. Look at what I got through.
Yes.
I did this. It gives us that opportunity to see how far we've come.
Yeah.
And not just how far we still need to go.
Right. No, that is a big thing that I'm always talking about. Did a show on it myself a few weeks ago, is about, looking back to see how far we've come. We may feel stuck. Oh God, I just don't know. I mean, I had a goal and a destination and I haven't reached it yet. And it's like, pause for a moment, take a breath, look back from where you've come. See how far you have come. See how much you have overcome. And that is a wonderful generator of pushing you forward, because you can, because you already have.
Exactly. And I love that quote that says, you haven't come so far to only come so far.
Exactly. That was just the first few steps, right? And I always say the biggest leap that you're going to take is the first step.
That is probably it, just to sort of get going.
Yes.
And trust.
Yes.
Because for me, that was the big catalyst for myself, the big transformation for myself. Because I'm quite a control freak, okay? As most people. And that is actually a universal fear, is to fear the let go of control.
Yes.
Because we feel so unsafe in this world.
Yeah.
Most people feel unsafe. And for me, it was such, I wrote a post actually to say that my comfort zone doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because I stepped out of it. I've blown into pieces with this book, putting this book together, because I've stepped so far out of my comfort zone to allow.
But hasn't it become comfortable for you now, though?
It has.
Right?
It has.
Stepping out of your
really
comfort zone,
amazing.
you find comfort in what you were
in the
afraid to do.
unknown.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And I think the beautiful thing is that unknown, to find
Mm,
comfort in that, because that means possibility. That means it's
yes.
not done yet. That means the
Right.
best is still to come.
Yes, it's just the first step, which is
It's
exciting,
the
isn't
first
it?
step.
You know, I love the title of the book, My
It's very
Mess is My
exciting.
Message, because please show me somebody who hasn't gone through life without creating some form of mess. I don't believe it.
Absolutely.
um, but the thing is from that mess, the messages come. The pivoting to where you
Yeah.
need to go, the lessons are learned, right? And that's, I think also in the writing of the chapters for them, because they're having to pinpoint that mess and the message they got from
Mm.
it, it's actually a form of house cleaning, isn't it?
It is. It is totally house cleaning. And what's really beautiful for them too, and I think that is a transformation of writing this story as well, to actually look back, as we said earlier, and see how their whole spiritual journey has gotten them to where they are now,
Yeah.
has actually led them, that mess has led them to their purpose, has led them to their message. And that is so often, it's, we can look in front of things in front of us and we think, oh my gosh, I'm in such a state and it's never going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
But the message, the gift is there.
Yes.
The
Yes.
gift is always there for us. It's always working for us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a big thing for people to realize is that the mess is not to get you. The mess is not to nail you. The mess is for you,
To teach you.
to teach you so that you can actually, throw away all the rubbish and all
Mm.
the rubble and reveal that jewel
Yes.
that you are, or the
Well,
debris. That's actually what I wanted to say.
there's a lot of people that kind of love going to kind of junk shops to find that one piece of treasure, and they always say one piece of garbage is another person's treasure,
Yes.
right? And it's that the thing is that nothing is truly garbage. I mean, there is certain things that really it's too ripe, it's got to go, but
Yeah.
there is always an ability to recreate out of something. And you never know where that inspiration is going to come from. Oh, you never know. Well, that old thing or that, that doesn't mean anything to me. You can have it, and to someone else, it becomes that
Yes.
catalyst, So it's being open, isn't it? Open to receive. That's something that's going to stir you into another direction or into an action.
Absolutely. And, there are absolutely no coincidences in this
No,
world.
no.
And that message that you get, that story that you read of someone else, is exactly what you need
Yes.
to just urge you on, to just push you through, to just nudge you, and to make it clear to you that this is actually your next step. And that is so profound, isn't it? I mean,
Mm,
the law of attraction,
mm.
I am delighted by it every day. And I actually start laughing when I see, I've just thought about this and here it is.
Yeah. Yes. I
Here
call
is a
that
message.
I call it channeling. I call it, you've opened up to the universal channeling, the wavelengths, right?
Yes.
And when you are open up, when you give it up to the universe and say, okay, I don't know what I need right now, but I know I need something and I'm open to receive. And the next thing you know, you meet someone or something happens and it's like, wow, okay, this is
Yeah,
it. I wouldn't have thought about that for myself. Thank you,
exactly.
universe. It's because we've opened up those channels and we're able to receive information and connections that we need. And we haven't allowed our own human intellect or ego to get in the way.
Exactly. And what's really the secret is just to be present,
Oh, God, yes. Yes.
just to be in the present moment and, connect to our heart. Then, it's like a little door that we open.
Mm.
And things just start pouring in, because I found so often that when we have our negative emotions, we're either in the past of things gone wrong that we project into the future, or we're into the unknown and we are afraid of the unknown. We haven't made friends with it. It's either one of the two. So the best place, as we know, we only have now. We only have this moment.
And what you do in this moment will dictate what happens in the tomorrows. What we plant, what we water, what we nurture is what's going to grow tomorrow. And you can have an anticipation and a wonderment for tomorrow, but you need to prepare for it today, in the now.
You need to ground it in today, in this moment.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We were talking before we went on air about how people are in such a hurry that they're missing the point. They're missing that gift of the now. People have stopped reading. They've stopped listening. We'll get to the point. What do you want? Da, 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 da. And you say, well, there is a process to what I'm giving you. The process is there for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? It has a system to it for us to get to the end goal. Like, people aren't going to, have their name published in the book if they haven't written the chapter. Right?
Exactly.
There is a process, that there's the same process in life. And if we keep trying to jump steps or ignore steps, all we're going to do is be knocked back to that step of process, and there's no resistance. We have to go through it.
It's only one way. It's not around it. It's through it.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And it's so true, Sarah. There are no shortcuts.
No.
There are there's really no shortcut to your own journey of self-discovery.
Yes.
Of your own self-discovery, of discovering who you really are.
Yes.
That is a process, and there's no destination to that.
No.
It is an ongoing, beautiful journey that keeps on unfolding and unfolding and unfolding.
And that's the point you said, keeps on. It doesn't stop at a certain age or a certain accomplishment. That is just, kind of maybe an end of a chapter or a pivotal point in your life. But it just means now, with all that wonderful information and skills that you have, your next chapter can be even more abundant. But until we exit this body and the spirit moves on, we are still here participating and living life. And it isn't about, well, I know I've reached there now, I can just sit back and do nothing. No.
If we sit back, then we just die. Hey, in nature as well.
Yes.
If something isn't functioning, it dies off, and the energy is replaced. So, and isn't that beautiful that our mind stays young?
Yes.
I mean, it's like you're 20. Or,
yes. Enthusiasm. Yes, I can do it.
That never dies.
Yes.
That never, ever dies. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Our body ages, yes.
God does it, yes.
Unfortunately. Unfortunately. But, it's never too late.
No.
Never too late to live your dream life. It's never too late to start that. It's never too late. And that is actually something that holds many people back.
Yeah.
Because they think all or nothing. They think,
I know.
I want to be at the top and I'm this age. It's going to take me too long to get there. So I might as well not do it at all. And it's not the destination. It is the journey.
And what you discover on that journey, I had Dreamer Denver on yesterday, which ended up being a 2-hour show. I'm going to make it a 2-parter. I just couldn't stop talking to this wonderful woman. I don't know if you remember a show, because I don't know if it came to South Africa, Gilligans Island. It was done in the 60s. It's literally still in syndication today, 58 years later. And it was about people who had been marooned on an island, and Gilligan was kind of the island idiot, but caused a great deal of mess, but always seemed to find the solution as well. And he met his wife doing a play together or a movie together, and A few years later, they had a son, and then it discovered that the son was severely autistic, no way to
Mm.
communicate, lots of tantrums. You're just,
Mm.
and they decided both to retire from acting and just look after their child. And at that time, autism, 82 or 3, really was not really understood, and there wasn't the
Mm.
support that there is today. And so they looked after that child for 21 years. They went out 4 times in 20 years, out on a date 4 times. Can you imagine? And it exhausted them. And they thought, well, we've got each other. And they did. And they didn't ask for the help until he
Mm.
got sick, and they had to. She had a heart attack. So they had to get the help.
Oh.
And he consequently died, but he prepared. He bought a house across the road. She got the help. Her son lives over there now. And for the last 18, 12 years, he's had permanent help. And in that time, after her grieving, because she absolutely adored Bob Denver, and, also the kind of grieving the years that she lost,
Mm.
rediscovery of who she is now at her age, she wrote a book on their life, and then has started doing a whole children's series of books. And that's the thing, is that they were dealt a hard hand, and they
Yes.
went through that hard hand, and they realized they should have asked for help, but at that time, there wasn't much out there.
Mm.
Um, but it's like she didn't die with him, when her son moved across the road and she could finally sleep in and have time for herself. She went in
Oh,
that discovery of herself, and then discovered what she loves to do, the writing of children's
that's
stories. And
beautiful.
it is never, ever, ever too late to make a discovery of self and something else that you can do.
Absolutely. If you're just open to it,
Yes,
there are just infinite possibilities,
infinite.
really infinite possibilities.
And
That's such a
timing is one.
beautiful.
Oh no, she's really inspirational. Dreamer Denver. I'm going to be interviewing her because she's even started a foundation for veterans. We didn't get there. We've got so immersed, and she's just such a wonderful soul to talk to. But the thing is, sometimes the timing isn't right,
Mm.
right?
It can be, yeah.
And it's like, it's not the right time, but that doesn't mean the dream is wrong.
Yes, absolutely. And we must just also look at, if the timing is wrong, as we said with me, that book come past me, or the
Yes,
publishing come past me 3 times, that it doesn't become an excuse,
right.
because we are so used to our little comfort zone
Mhm.
that we don't want to step out. And I think that's important, just to have that observation of oneself, to realize, is the time really not
Mhm.
perfect now? Because the time actually is never perfect, is it?
No, you had
The
to
time
make
to
it.
do something is really never. If we wait for the perfect time, it's like getting married or having children. There's never a perfect time
And next thing
for
you know,
that.
you're 89. Oh, hang on, is it too late to have that kid?
Absolutely. So yes, timing. And I must say, when I created the book, there were a number of people who really would have loved to participate, but the timing wasn't right. And
Right.
you know what I mean,
That
I
just means
accept
book
that.
2. And that's the thing with
And
what you're doing.
I'm thinking,
You don't have to settle at the one book, because there's so many other wonderful stories out there,
yes,
right?
I definitely think that next year, early next year, I'm going to do volume 2
Right.
of My Message.
Good.
It's
Because,
it's like a that kind of book,
yes,
it's so inspiring.
right. And as I said, the best lessons are learning from those that have gone through it.
Yes, and
It's,
if you read the stories,
mm,
oh gosh,
yeah,
there are women who've gone through things that I think, oh my gosh, it's amazing what they've overcome.
exactly.
And I think we totally underestimate our resilience.
Yes. Or our abilities.
Yes.
I think we sell ourselves short all the time, I've just celebrated my 10th year of podcasting, and through the years of doing this, there's always been a common denominator, people kind of either having, the tap on the shoulder 3 or 4 times, or the cosmic 2x4,
Mm.
and that rediscovery of who they are. you know, that going through the process one step at a time, despite where they've been or how many ashes they have to come from, you know, to not reinvent themselves, rediscover themselves truly from the inside out. Because a lot of people were living the outside in life. And when they were invited to live the inside out life, that's when they started taking the process. And despite what has happened to them, and believe me, for some people, I wouldn't have blamed them if they'd given up with what they've been through in life. But who they are today, because of what they just said, it didn't happen to me, it happened for me.
Absolutely.
And I discovered my strength. I discovered my courage. I discovered my abilities. I discovered my purpose. I know who I am, what my instrument it is, who I'm here to play it for. And they step into something that was so much bigger than what they went through, and becomes so illuminating for other people that it invites other people who are going through struggles to believe they too can get through this. They too can thrive. They too can have a wonderful, abundant life if they're willing to go through the process.
If they're willing to
and
let
go of what's causing the pain.
Yes, that is the big thing.
Yeah.
Are they willing to actually go through the process?
Yes.
Because it is the process of transformation, of letting go of the old self, of the false self, of the ego, and actually connect with your soul and actually step into the trust, into the surrendering, you know, that control that we hold on to so dearly, to let go and to see what can happen if I let go.
But why do we hold on so tight? Is it an illusion that we're holding on to? Is it an expectation that we're holding on to? You know, if I let go and become something else, what will people think of me? You know, or will I let myself down? Will I fail? You know, I think, again, it's that exterior pressure that makes us hold on to things that aren't serving us.
But it's also a thing of not trusting completely the universe, not trusting God completely.
Right.
Thinking, and that stems again from unworthiness, to think that, you know, I'm not worthy to be sort of taken care of, to be held up, to be carried through this. And the thing is, we always carry through. It always reminds me of, and that's what I wrote in my story as well, you know, when things got really bad, and it reminded me of that story of that goes that the person said that, you know, I've always known that God was walking beside me. And then when I've always seen two sets of footprints as I walk through life, but when things got really bad, I only saw one.
Yes, exactly.
And God said, but that's when I carried you.
Right. Yeah.
And it's true.
Or we switched God's message off. All right.
Yes, that can also be. But I think God carries us anyway.
Yes, until we realize we're being carried.
Yes.
Because most of the time when we're in our own darkness, what do we feel? Alone.
We feel alone.
Nobody understands us. Nobody cares for us. We're abandoned. Who do we think we are? Nobody cares if we live or die. We go through that, right? And it's like when we come out of our own sorrow and decide again to be present, to be calm, to allow, we'll know that we are never alone. For we are of God, universe, spirit, or energy, whatever you wish to call it. We are all made of those same particles. We're all of that essence. So where is God? Inside of you. How does God speak to you? Through those channeling messages of opening up from the universe. So while we're busy chasing our tails, going, why, what am I meant to do? Why is this happening to me? Take a breath. Be still. And the answers will be revealed.
Yes, absolutely. Just become quiet.
Yes.
There is so much beauty in stillness.
And silence.
And just connect to your heart and your breath and allow, because I think, I always think that your higher self is like shouting, but you can't hear it because it's so much noise. in our lives with all the bombardment of social media and this and that and this and that from 1 second to the next. We have become so addicted to having our phone in our hands all the time and looking for the next thing. Where's the next like, the next message, the next something that tells me that I'm important?
Yes.
But actually you are already important. But on a way different level than what the world mind is letting you to believe.
I'm going to take, the president of Ukraine right now, prime minister, whichever he's called. He was a comedian, right? He was also, I think, a lawyer, but he was a comedian, and they voted him in just because they didn't like, the bureaucracy was going on. And, somebody sent a picture of him dressed as a superhero. And, when you look at superheroes, he truly is. He has stepped up for his people in a way that we have not seen leaders step up for their people in a very, very long time. He's there on the front. He's fighting for his people. He's not too humble to beg the rest of the world for help. And that, I think, that humility, that humbling, that I will stand by you, is something we look to because we don't see it too often. But did he ever think when he was being a comedian that he would be a prime minister, see that he would be fighting a war with Russia on such uneven terms? We never know what hand is going to be dealt to us. But who we become because of that is really what really can be quite extraordinary.
Okay.
So what do you feel about that?
I agree with you. I agree with you that we really cannot even imagine our own capabilities and our own where life can take us. Because I think what's important to realize is that, as we just said before, we are not just humans. We are spiritual beings in a human body.
Having a human experience.
Having a human experience. And you know what? We are actually here to manifest the glory of the universe through us. Because nothing man-made in this world exists besides going through man. It all starts with the thought of someone getting a beautiful desire, an idea, and is getting guided by their higher self, super consciousness, of how to bring this into the world. And if we can make that awareness in ourselves that I'm not here to just be mediocre. I'm actually a vessel.
Yes.
For the expansion of the universe, because that's how the universe, that's how God expands. It's through us, through us humans.
Yes.
Because we are not just humans. And when we realize that, we can let go and say, okay, fine. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
I'm open to receive. I'm open to be guided. And I think we'll be absolutely blown away by how our life can take a turn for the good that's beyond our wildest dreams.
The unexpected, there's always going to be the unexpected in our lives. It's how we respond to that unexpected. It's what we do with it. And there are times that, I kind of, metaphor it to giving birth to oneself. That 9-month gestation, the morning sickness, the cramps, the backache, the heavy belly, then the pain of going through the labor. And then when you hold that child, all pain is forgotten, right? And
everything is forgotten.
If we're willing to go through that process of our own resurrection of new life and hold ourselves in the same loving way, and allow ourselves to take that discovery of where we're meant to go by being in tuned and paying attention. I think that, I love seeing people and their rebirth. I love seeing people.
Beautiful.
It is one of the best things ever, seeing people step into their own beautiful divine light and meaningful purpose. And it's what we're here for, isn't it?
It is what we're here for. And that is so true, because it is like a birth.
Mm-hmm.
It is like a birth when we discover our true self, and we can actually really start living that. And the wonderful thing is that it's already here.
Mm.
We just need to connect
Yes.
to that vibration. And isn't that beautiful that we actually have different versions of ourselves at different vibration realities? And
Yes.
as we can just tune in to where we want to live, the life we want to have, we can make it happen.
Yeah.
We can allow it to happen through us. And we don't need to stay stuck.
No.
But we need to go through the process of actually practicing that vibration. That is important.
Yeah, I mean, how do you recognize it? What do you want to do? What do you do with it? And well, that comes into participating first and foremost in your own life. I think a lot of people are waiting for things to happen to them for them, instead of them making it happen for themselves.
Absolutely. That is so important. And that is to decide. I love that saying that says, you got to get definite with the infinite.
Yes. Yeah,
you got to say, what do you want?
Right.
What do you really, really, really want?
Well, you tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Yes. Yes. Decide.
Yeah.
Decide on something.
But sometimes we don't know what we want. And what we want in this state might be, I just want peace in my life. I just want substance in my life. I just want to know I don't have to live in the fear anymore. And if that's what you want at the present moment, what are you going to do to make that happen? And from when you take those steps and you find that peace and you find yourself along the way, then what you're meant to do with it will be revealed. Yes. You don't have to have the big dream. You don't have to have the big vision. It could be I don't want to live in this state of being anymore. I am always in fear. I'm always clenched. I'm always unhappy. I'm always ill. So how do I step out of that and step into a flow, a meaningful purpose that counts for me? And that is, again, there is no manual. There is a process. There's skills and tools, right? You can put in your backpack and you can take with you, but there is no manual. You have got to put, though, that's why I say the biggest leap is that first step.
That first step. Absolutely. And what's really important is, even if you want only peace,
yes,
or you want, what does that look like?
Right. Right.
How would you describe, how would you know that you've got peace?
And if you've never known it, how would you know? Right? Exactly.
Yeah. How would you know?
Yeah.
You have to get clear on what it is that you want. In terms of, I always tell my clients, you must be able to make an image.
Yes.
Of what it is that you want. If you can't make an image, you're not clear.
And an internal image, right? Not an external image. If I have
no. In your imagination, yes. What does that look like, right, that you want? And start with something small. You don't have to have as you say, the huge, right, big dream, I'm now a millionaire or whatever. What is the next level? What is the next little step that you would love to experience? And focus on that. What would that look like? Get very clear on it.
Yeah.
And then live as if you have it already, because that's the secret of the universe.
Right.
You gotta become it before it will come to you.
I mean, what the universe, they always say, be careful what you ask for, because that's what you will get. And I'm always saying, what you feed is what's going to grow. But, if I want to be a star, well, you might end up being a star, but was that really what you wanted? Because now there are pressures and responsibilities and everything else to do with being a star. Do you want to just shine bright in your own life? And I think, we don't get clarity when we're in chaos. So before we can get any clarity of what we want, we've really got to be still and find breath and centering of self. Because how can we be clear on what we want if we're still in a turmoil?
Yes, it's a different kind of thinking. You've got to become quiet. I totally agree. And also, many people, as we just said, don't know what they want. They
Mm.
can tell you what they don't want.
Yes.
But you know what? Start there.
Yeah.
Write down everything that you don't want. And then look at the opposite of that. If you don't want that, what do you want instead? What would that look like?
Yes.
If that is because most people or many people are used to thinking in terms of what they don't want.
Mm.
They're thinking in terms of what they want to move away from.
Mm.
And of course, the irony is that that keeps them stuck exactly where they are.
Because that's what they're feeding. I used to do
That's
that.
what they're feeding.
Yeah, I did that with my own clients. I said, I want you 2 columns, everything you don't like, all the
Yes.
negatives, all the things that are out to get you, everything, blah, 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 blah. And that column is always longer. Then I said, or now the gratitudes. And then you'll see the gratitudes, a short paragraph, the other one off the page. And then I go, okay, now which one are you going to feed? Because whichever one you're going to feed is going to grow.
It's going to grow. Absolutely.
Right. So if you're not happy with all of this negativity, why are you still feeding it?
Yeah. Yeah.
But we don't realize we're in that pattern though, do we?
No, we don't. We have blind spots. And the whole thing is, the first step is self-awareness.
Yes.
And, if you think about it, that we have 65,000 thoughts a day, of which 95% is subconscious. You're not even aware of them. The scary thing is, it's the same thoughts we had yesterday.
Yes.
The day before, the week before, the month before, the decade before.
Yes.
So until we become aware of, and isn't it wonderful how we've received this gift of feeling?
I love feelings. Yes.
And that gives us a barometer.
Yeah.
Of what are we thinking? Because thoughts and emotions go together. So just by becoming aware of how am I feeling, and then I can ask, what am I thinking?
Yeah.
To feel this way. Already it gives us that, I call it the supply chain of the mind.
Right. Yes.
Think, feel, act, or speak, and result.
Yes.
If you want to change a different result, you can't change the thing that happens, but you can change how you look at it.
Exactly.
You can change how you think about it. And that will create a new emotion, and you will take a new action from that emotion and have a different result.
Exactly. 100%. 100%. I always say this is my mantra, is the soul has to speak for an open heart. The soul, divine truth, will speak in resonance to the heart. The heart will then ignite the spirit. And the spirit will open the mind to what it needs to know when it needs to know it. This is filled with a massive amount of data. And very often we get stuck in that data, the what if, but what if this goes wrong? What if that goes wrong? What if that, what if this? And we talk ourselves out of things all the time. We go back to old programming and old patterning and old loops. When we're willing to listen to the soul and the heart, that is a truth. That is something you don't need to verify, validate, justify. It is the truth. The spirit knows what to do with it. Then it can extract what the mind needs in order to make it happen. But when we go thoughts first, we don't pay attention to the soul, heart, and spirit, because the mind thinks it's more brilliant than the soul's intellect. But the soul, spirit, and heart have an intellect all of their own. And all emotions are there to indicate how you feel. What is it that's making you feel that way? Where we run into problems is when we become emotional over the emotion.
Yes, that is absolutely true. And yes, the one thing to remember is, you are not your thoughts. You have thoughts. You are not your emotions. You have emotions.
Yes.
That's part of your human experience.
Yes.
Okay. We are more than that.
Right. We are so much more than that. Yes. A beautiful beacon of light, of love. Ultimately, what is God? What is the highest frequency? It's love. It's love. When we're living on a love vibration, we cannot knowingly do any harm to anyone else because it's doing harm to us.
Exactly.
But how to get there? And that is the process, the journey, the willing to share your story, And I think for a lot of people, there's a lot of people that are very embarrassed over their story. You know, I'm in the
Yeah.
process of writing my book, and it's like, oh, do I really want to share that? It's like, you know, I look like an idiot again. But it is, we've all done idiotic things, you
We've
know,
all done it.
but we've done it based on the knowledge or the conditioning or the environment that we were
Mm.
in at the time. When we
Yes.
know better, we do better.
Yes. That's absolutely true. Yes, all people do the best that they can with the resources they have available.
Exactly. And where you're at in that particular process of life. And I think, you know, I'm sure you've had it with this book, and I've had it with plenty of people I've interviewed. Is like, I look back on that person and I don't know who she is, because she's not a resemblance of me anymore. I finally stepped into myself.
Yeah. And what a beautiful realization.
Yes. Yes. And when we look back on it, what an incredible journey. While we're going through it, you know, it can feel hard, it can feel struggles, it can feel confusing. But when we get through to that other end and we go, you know what? I finally stepped into myself. You talked about the 2 feet walking. You know, for me,
Yeah.
I had my divine self, my intuitive self, which I have been on this planet for eons and eons. And that's always been my truth. But I was trying to be the human that was there to please everyone else, because I
Mm.
felt nobody could accept this being, right? It just, before its time, before people will accept it, nobody could accept this being. So I had to be
Mm.
the image of what they wanted me to be. And I felt that
Yes.
I was walking side by side myself for so
Yeah.
long, until I could merge as one and trust my beingness.
That's a beautiful way of looking at it. Absolutely. We do that. We have these masks that we wear
Mhm.
to please everyone. And we in that process we lose ourselves
Don't we?
completely.
Yes. And refinding yourself is like finding Waldo. And again, we've got to go through that process of rediscovery, right? Of who we are now. And you're accepting those redirects and going off in different directions. You've done this book. Are you doing books for other people?
Yes, I am. I'm publishing books for solo books
Mm-hmm.
as well. And I'm working on my next multi-author book
Mm-hmm.
that is called Success with Source.
Yeah.
Learn from women who practice vibrational alignment in their business.
Wonderful. Yes. When we get into those good vibrations.
Yes, that
We
is
know.
my passion.
Yes.
Manifestation, vibration
Yes.
is absolutely my passion. So I'm very excited about this book.
You know,
And
like,
I think it's going to be very, very important for many people
yeah.
on how to tap into their powers.
Yeah. Step into their groove, step into their rhythm, step into their vibration. Because then it's like you know, I refer to people as being an instrument, discovering what your instrument is, learning how to play it, then looking for your orchestra that you can join and play in
Yeah.
harmony, a symphony that resonates out in truth to others. But we need to discover what our instrument is, how to play it.
Yes.
And then we know that if you pick the violin, it's going to sound like a cat's meow or cat, you know, a cat screaming on the chalkboard, you know, for a while, until you learn to perfect it. And it is, don't expect to be good at it straight off. You'll get
No.
better at it as you go through it.
And then you will appreciate how better you got if you look back
Yes,
on where you started.
exactly. Exactly. And always be willing to that redirect. I'm so glad that you're doing the publishing, you know, always based in the soul and the loving vibrations and that connection to our beingness, to our source energy. You know, again, going back to the timing, there were a few people 20 years ago doing this, and they kind of, you know, the Paulo, Louise Hay, a few others that were writing this, and they became the pedestal for others to look. But when people become, you know, kind of that pedestal, people think, well, they're there, I can never be that.
Mm.
And you know what it has opened up in their teachings is like, oh, I guess I can if I participate.
Absolutely. if I
So
participate.
if we can all be that alchemist, we can all be that inspirer. It's just a question of how much are we going to immerse into our own lives and then share that with other people.
Absolutely, Sarah, and not look at others that are, and you know, actually, I think it's so important for us not to compare ourselves with other people.
I hate the word
Because
compare or compete. Two words I
yes,
don't like. Yeah.
absolutely, because we are all unique. We are all of us, our spiritual DNA is exactly the same. We have just chosen different human journeys.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all.
For different reasons.
For different reasons.
Purposes. You know, we're all part of that instrument in the orchestra. We don't want everyone to be the same instrument.
We are all connected.
Yes.
We are all one. We are all different expressions of the same. And there is no need to compare. There's no need to compete.
No.
Absolutely. We are here with our own divine expression of what we came to do in this world. And so everyone else. And people who are, you know, there are people who are much further along their journey than we are, but we are necessary,
yes,
for the people that we are here to serve at this place.
Well, it's always passing the baton on, isn't it? You know, the people that inspired us have helped us rise up to a higher frequency and vibration. We're now igniting that in other people, and so will the ripple effect go.
It always continues.
Yes.
It always continues.
Those good vibrations, keeping them going. That's the important thing. You know, we look to the world problems and we like to point fingers, and we forget the 3-pointing back at us. And is that if you want world peace, if you want inner peace, if you want, you know, personal or global abundance, you've got to be it. Everything.
You've got to be it.
We are a part of the problem or a part of the solution. Again, goes back to our choice, doesn't it?
It does. And, you know, the main thing is that we don't attract into our lives what we want. We attract who we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
We attract our energy. So, you know, if we are falling into the complaining and judging and condemning all the time, then that is what we attract.
That's the algorithm.
People complaining, people condemning, people judging.
Yeah.
And we stay in that
loop.
Like whirlpool or that loop, that black hole.
Yes, tornado, hurricane, yes.
And it's once we can get ourselves to jump out of there and to be in the vibration of allowing and acceptance, appreciation, accepting everyone.
Yeah.
Knowing, and I love always what Deepak Chopra said. He said when he realized that everybody on this earth are all souls trying to find their way home.
Yeah.
And that is who we are. We are all trying to find our way home.
It's the universal energy. The home is here, which is the universe is in us. We are the universe. We're all part. A lot of people think to become the one means to abstaining being you. No, there are trillions of cells in our body. Every single cell in our body has a job to do to make sure that the whole of the body is optimized. When those cells start breaking down, they start breaking down the optimization of that body. So we have to look at ourselves in our community, in life, as a cell. Be plump and juicy and productive, because you are a part of the equation to the healthiness of the embodiment of humanity, planet, and universe.
If we can realize that our energy, how our mind body states, our actions, what we think and what we speak and what we say and what we do, how that actually affects the planet around us.
You
know, the cause and effect, it happens all the time. And if we can be the cause of good, and that cause, the cause of everything in your life, in our lives, what we have created, it comes from us. It comes from what we think. It comes from how we feel. It comes from our actions and what we speak. We speak our world into existence. Everything that we are here, that we are experiencing, comes from us.
Yes, absolutely everything. Mama Earth is rather pissed off with this, and this is why she's playing up, earthquakes, tornadoes, and everything on the more, because she's saying, stop grounding your into my earth.
Yeah.
Deal with it. I'm tired of the anger and the hate, and it's not love and hate, it's love and fear. What does fear breed? Mistrust, misunderstanding, hate, loathing, war, violence. That's the domino effect of fear. What is fear? It's the fear of unknown. So when we choose to educate ourselves or to discover why we are afraid, we realize that we don't need to be afraid.
No, it's all assumptions.
Yes.
All false assumptions.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yes, walking in front of a truck, be afraid. Tapping a bear on the shoulder and having a chat, maybe be a little afraid. There is the sensibility, and there is those fear things that are in there to keep you alive. But to cripple ourselves with fear because we don't understand, or we're fearful or mistrustful. And I think fear and mistrust has become very much hand in hand.
Yes.
If we could drop the mistrust and say, I'm going to make my own assumption by trying to understand what it is I'm afraid of, and really look at it and understand, do I want to give myself up to fear?
Absolutely. And if we really look at it, we'll see that what am I actually afraid of and what do I believe about that are all assumptions.
Yes.
And are all false.
Yes.
Absolutely. Then none of them are true.
We can be so dramatic over it, can't we?
Yes. And it 10-1 comes from somebody else's idea.
Yeah.
That you adopted when you were a child. And, that is still driving the response in certain situations.
Yeah.
So it's so important to not believe everything that you think.
Right. Yeah.
And to question
all you've been
challenge.
Told. Yes.
Yes. Challenge your beliefs,
Yes.
challenge your responses. Is this who I am? Is this what I believe? Is this true for me? And again, that self-awareness, when we feel fear, anger, guilt, shame, whatever, disappointment, dissatisfaction, condemning, complaining, all of that, is to challenge ourselves and just do some introspection and ask, is this who I am?
Right. Is it who I want to be?
Is it who I want to be? And you can make the decision right there and then and say, this is not me.
Right. Yeah. And you and I have both done that in our lives, and where we are now, we're where we're meant to be, doing what we're meant to be doing it from a place of heart and soul, knowing that it may just be the seeding of a young garden, but we know it's going to grow into a massive field, right?
Absolutely.
Because that's, is a lot of people are going, but there's so much going on in the world. I don't know what to do. How can I help? Well, there is the oxygenate yourself, the importance of yourself, not self-importance, because that's ego driven, but the importance of self. You need to look after you and be as abundant as you can be within yourself. Then your cup will runneth over.
Yes.
Right? So
starts with you.
It starts with you. And sometimes you have to be selfish with the people around you and say, look, I'm sorry. I am shutting down. I'm saying no to this. I'm not doing that right now. I'm putting this loving energy that I give to everyone else on me right now. And, I think that again is that big leap that people take in that first step. How important am I in my own life?
Yes, because if you don't see yourself as important, nobody else will.
Right. Right. And, that is that journey of self-discovery. I know when I was in transition, kind of coming into my oneness, I said to people, I'm sorry, I can't be there for you right now. I'm asking you to be there for me. And if you can't be there for me, I understand, that's all right. But don't ask me for anything for you, because everything I give you right now, I have to give to myself. I lost some friends and I gained some others. Right. And it was a hard thing for me to do, to switch off from everyone else, go insular and look at what I needed to do for my own healing. But it's the best thing I did for me, because now I'm more productive in what I do. than the dysfunctional and empty tank that I was giving before, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And trying to please everyone. And there's no way that you can do that
No,
if we run on empty anyway.
exactly.
So we've got to fill our own cups first. And
Yes.
then we have plenty
Yeah.
of love and energy to radiate and to give to others.
When you
We've got to
step into
start
that
with
loving,
us.
yeah, when you step into that loving energy, it magnifies itself, doesn't it? It becomes abundant itself. It's this constant, beautiful volcano of love constantly spewing out. And there's the more you're in it, the more you have to share and give away.
And the more it gets bigger and bigger
Yes.
and flower and flower. It's
Yes.
beautiful.
Yeah, it is absolutely beautiful. So the next book you have is on energy. When is that coming out? What will that title be?
It's called Success with Source.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about women. The subtitle is Learn from Women Who Practice Vibrational Alignment in their business. And it's open now for authors to come in. It will be published around end of July, beginning of August.
Neat. And you've got that, and you've got something else on the burner for this book 2 for next year for My Mess.
Yes, book 2 for next year. Definitely. I'm going to do another volume of My Mess is My Message.
Right.
And then I wait for Spirit to tell me what's the next book.
And is this all of you choosing people, but can people come to you and say, I've got the people, can you do the publishing for us?
Yes, I can do that too.
Excellent. Because really, this is the way it's going right now. People are contributing chapters, and it's so impactful. You know, there are a lot of people putting, I've been asked to put out my own memoir, but it's my Angels and I's memoir, because my poor angels, I've really made them work. So, it's very often their view of my life. And going, oh boy, how many cosmic 2x4s did I have to hit her with? But for some people, yes, there is that memoir there. But, you know, for a lot of people, it is that chapter, that impactful chapter, and then one chapter after the other of people sharing their heart and soul, you know, that process, that meaningful purpose, and how impactful it can be. And for a reader, sometimes a whole book might be something a little hard to get through, but reading one chapter, putting it down, digesting it, really kind of immersing into it, and then picking the book up again and reading somebody else's chapter.
Yeah.
You know, we've got this illusion that we must read from beginning to end. Well, the book that you've got there, we can pick any chapter anytime. And I love just opening, what do I need to know with a book, and let it open up to where it needs to go. That's what I need to know today. So
yes,
they can do that with the chapters,
true.
right?
They can do that, yes.
Yeah.
And it's all individual stories, and it's all part of a collective.
Yes.
So the theme is the same.
And having interviewed already 2 people from your group there, and now yourself, you know, as they said, the meaning, you know, what they revealed about themselves, and you know what they discovered about themselves in doing this was so impactful, and they're also very proud of what they've put
Very
out
proud.
there.
Yes.
And you know, that is the thing. When we talk about ego, we're talking about the negative side of ego, where it becomes at the expense of others, or even at the expense of self. When we talk about self-pride, it is looking at the achievements that you've made despite the challenges you had along the way.
Absolutely. And you know, to know that this is going to help someone. This is going to impact someone's life. This is going to make a difference.
Yeah.
Because people reading the stories, they identify with it, and they find inspiration, and they find, you know, what can they do? They find their own blessing in among, you know, in their own adversity that they are going through, because that is the whole message, that there is a blessing inside what we're going through, and it's to start looking for that. And that's what I hope the book does. It's to awaken people to actually start looking for the blessings.
Well, it's been received very, very well already. So it's clear, you know, people are hungry right now. They're hungry for their own self-discovery. They're hungry for a meaning in life. They're hungry to know there's got to be something more than this. There's got to be
Yeah.
something better. You know, COVID, however tumultuous it was, because it's always out of chaos we find clarity. For many people, it became a redirect in their life, a review of their life, taking stock. Do I want to keep going down this road? And for a lot of people, pivoting into a new direction. And that is a gift in itself, isn't it?
It is. It is. You know, I always have this motto that nothing is all good or all bad.
Right.
There's always good with the bad.
There
and
is,
you know,
or good in the bad.
especially yeah, especially with COVID, I think it has actually been such a catalyst for so many people to redirect, to find their purpose really of what it is that they love doing, and to find their own resilience, to just find a better version of themselves, and find new ways of doing things.
Yes. Yes. But life is, when we lose the zest for life, when we lose the joy for life, when we stop being grateful for all the beautiful, simple things, you know, the breeze, the water, the trees, the earth, everything that's provided for us, children laughing, puppy dogs wagging tails, birds singing, you know, when all of that, when we forget to see that, when we forget to pay attention to all the glory that is around us, and to see each other from a light of beauty that lies within us, when we start seeing all of that, then we truly actually understand what we're here for.
Absolutely. I totally agree. You know what? It is that noticing of the beauty, of the abundance, that we start actually attracting it to us.
Yeah.
Because abundance is not something that you get. It's something that you tune into.
Yes. Yes.
It's appreciation of yourself, of everything around you, of praising and with gratitude what you have now, as you are visioning something better. But it's not to condemn what you have now. It's to be grateful at this moment, because at least you can breathe. You know, we have the breath of life in us. I listened the other day to a beautiful teacher who said, you know, when you breathe, think of that something is breathing you, and receive the breath.
Yeah.
You know, it's not you doing it. It's not you doing the breathing. It's the infinite intelligence is breathing you. And I think that is so profound. Is that love that's always with us. It's actually caring. It's really breathing us.
Yeah. We actually take things for granted, like breath. You know, I'm an asthmatic, have been all my life. And so I know what it's like to actually be without breath, and things go black on you, and you know, you're gasping for that air. And that is the actual breath of life that keeps me alive. But I feel very, very often that is the state of being that we get when we forget to breathe in our life.
Absolutely. Looking outward. Just have us on a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
We find the stability, we find the constant inside.
Inside job. Life is an inside out job.
It's an inside out job.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
And when you come from that compass, because it is a compass, it is your guiding system, it is your truth, it's the very core of you. You know, when you get presented something, should I do this or shouldn't I do this? When the core is with you, you know. And if the core, you know, says no, don't do it.
Yes, listen.
Listen. Because the core is that divine truth, and it will never steer you wrong if you listen to it.
It will never steer you wrong. But we need to listen. We need to become quiet and listen.
So other than the publishing, are you only doing the publishing of coaches, or are you actually coaching as well?
I'm doing coaching as well. I have a community, Manifesting Your Bliss community, where we talk manifesting and we talk vibration and all things about money and everything that we want to manifest in this life. Yeah, I only actually do that at the moment. With the publishing, I've decided to let many things go.
Yes.
And just focus on manifesting because it's really my passion.
Yeah.
And the publishing.
Right. And they're both one of the same anyway, right? One leads to another or can lead to another, or the books that are published inspires them, you know, the manifesting, or the manifesting may inspire a chapter in a book. So, you know, it's that synergy of bringing together.
It is for me because it's really just an extension of what I have been doing. And that is my mission is to help people become successful.
Right.
And in what it is that they are doing. So manifesting the next level of success, and a strategy to do that is to write a chapter in a book or to publish your solo book.
Yeah.
It's to publish people's stories.
Yes.
Because that also leads to them expanding their business, expanding their brand, expanding their life. It all is aspects of the same.
Because when we read that story, you know, and the reason why I do podcasting is that when you hear the stories, you know if you've made a connection with someone or not. And if you've heard the story and you've made a connection, you know, I know I can do business with this person now. I know I can trust them with my vulnerability or with what I need because I have felt them. I've heard their honesty, their vulnerability. You know, it's not about the rah, the buy, the this, the that. It's about that openness of the brokenness that they had to go through to become the whole, to understand how to serve you today. And that's kind of what we're looking for, isn't it? We're looking for people who have been through the struggles because we know they're going to hear us and see us and understand our struggles and help us get to where they've got to.
So true. And you know what's really important is when you write your story, we all love stories. And we relate through stories. And when you share your story in a book, that is the deepest kind of relating to your client, to your ideal client, because you show your vulnerable self, but you also demonstrate your journey. You demonstrate showing that you've been where they are, and what are the steps to get where you are now.
The skills.
Yes, it shows that path. It shows that it's possible.
Yes.
It shows that I can take your hand through it.
Right. We can all get there. We can do it together. We're not meant to do it alone. But it is us alone it is only in us that can take the first step.
Yeah.
Nobody can make, you know, as they say, take a horse to water, you can't make it drink. Leave it long enough and it's going to realize it's thirsty.
Yeah, that is true. You cannot make anything for someone else.
But when they're ready,
they've got to take that step when they're ready.
Yeah. When they're ready, that book is there. That program is there.
Yes.
When they're ready, when they decide to participate in their own lives and say, I need the help or I need the guidance, help me get to be where I need to be, because they've got to apply, they've got to do the work. You're just giving them the skills and the tools and the wisdom to do it.
Yes. Nobody can do your work for you.
No one, folks.
Give you the best ideas, the best guidance, the best everything. But in the end, you've got to do the work.
Yep, like nobody can eat for you. You've got to chew yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that is very important. And, you know, and as you said, that the biggest leap is that first step.
Yeah.
And once anybody take that first step, it becomes easier and easier. And you think, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this years ago?
Yes.
You know?
They're not as wobbly as you thought. You know, you are more sure-footed, you know, and sometimes those steps become strides. We don't want them to become more leaps because we don't want you to miss things. But you will actually, in certain areas of your life, take strides because that confidence and the knowledge that you have. And other times you may go back to just one toe in front of the other, right? Just while you're going
That's
through a
also fine.
situation, which is fine. The whole thing, and you may even stand still for a moment just to digest and reflect or to review, you know, where you're going. But please don't go backwards.
Yeah.
There's nothing for
And
you back there.
And if you think that you are not going to do anything, you're just going to stay where you are, then you are actually, in fact, going backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Because things are changing all around you.
Yes.
Life is moving forward. And, you know, we are got to participate.
Yes.
We've got to, otherwise we stagnate and we die.
Right, exactly. You know, be present with self, be at one with self, be still with oneself. But that stillness, it doesn't mean you just stay there. It is to get the clarity you need in order to take those steps forward. We do not see things in chaos, but chaos has its reason. That disruption is to shake things up you don't need for you to see the things you do need. Yeah. It's not out to get you. It's there to teach you and show you a path, right?
It's there for you. And you know, and when we can get there, that we see the things that seem to go wrong as part of the process of it going to go right.
Yeah.
Then we are in a total different consciousness.
Right. Yeah.
Because then we accept and we appreciate it's just part of the process.
Right.
And if we can hold our higher vibe of our faith, of this is working out for me, everything works out for me exactly the way it should, in my favor, then whatever happens around us, we can take that in our stride.
Yes. Yes.
Without us driving, you know, pulling us down to the rabbit hole.
Yeah. No rabbit holes, folks. It's for rabbits only. We're too big to get into that rabbit hole, and it's damn hard to squeeze back out of it afterwards. So, you know, avoid the rabbit hole. This has been wonderful, lovely. It's wonderful to connect with you again. And, you know, the books that you're doing, I know, are wonderful. I'm sure that the people who've written in the chapters have had an impact on you as well when you were doing the editing and putting it together.
Oh, I cried so much, Sarah, reading it, and because I have that, it's part of my service.
Yeah.
To read the chapter first, give them feedback on it before we send it off to the editor. And I really cried in so many of the stories.
Yes.
Beautifully written. Beautifully written. And, you know, that's the whole thing about writing a chapter in a book like that. It is not about perfection.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're looking at it from you, the way that you would tell it to someone else.
Yes. Yeah.
To share it in that way.
You know,
it had a profound effect on me.
I'm a big advocate for book clubs, but also podcast clubs as well, and where everybody can read or everybody can listen and then come back and share their own perspective, what they got out of it. And then when you all share it together, you go, well, this is how this impacted me, or this is what I saw, or this is what I learned from it. And each person sharing that, and it's like, wow, I didn't see it from that angle. And suddenly you've got a bigger and a wholer picture. So, you know, really, you know, a good book club for your local book club. There's, you know, My Mess is My Message. Such beautiful stories in there. And it can be found on Amazon.
Yes, can be found on Amazon. There's a Kindle version and a paperback.
Right. And a beautiful thing that you're doing is all the proceeds from the Kindle book are going to 2 charities. From
all the books, the paperback as well.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. And so they're going to, the charity is I am on watch.
I am on watch.
I am on watch. Okay, right. When it's all clumped together, my dyslexia comes in and changes the letters around. So I am on watch.org. And it also goes to Water Wellness project.ca as well.
Yeah.
And you know, that's a wonderful thing too of the books, to keep on giving, because they're not just giving the message, they're not just serving the people who have written it, but they're also serving other communities as well, which is absolutely wonderful. Now, if people want to be a part of this, or have an idea for a book, want to do a solo book, or want even your coaching, how do people reach out to you, love?
The best way is on my website, dinamarais.com.
Can you spell that for the people who are just listening?
DinaMarais.com.
DinaMarais.com. And everything
Or
is up
just,
there.
yeah, everything is up there, or find me on Facebook, or send me an email. An email is just dina@dinamarais.com.
And
Easy as that.
you're Dina Marais on Facebook, you're on Instagram, Coach Dina Marais, LinkedIn, you are Dina Marais, and you've also got your own YouTube as well.
Yes, I've got my own YouTube as well. But of course, that's still a channel that
I love your redirection. I love where you're going. I love, you know, the whole idea of it. As I said, you know, I've done one book a few years ago, and it's hard work putting people together to do a book. I have another one hopefully coming out at the end of this year, the Forgotten Children series, which is the same principle, but it's about what we can do for our kids because we have forgotten and left them behind. And I find that most of the time people's problems as an adult stems back to their childhood. And so if we can heal the inner child, or if we could stop the child from being injured in the first place, you know, I think we would have a better society. So this is a beautiful way that books are being done now, contributing chapters, but that doesn't mean you can't have your solo book. And you tell your own story. And if you're looking for a publisher that understands that there's a lot of publishers out there, but to find somebody who understands that you're speaking from your soul, your heart, and your essence, that is, because when it comes to the editing, you want somebody who understands that language of what you're doing, because otherwise they'll cut it out and generic it, right? You know, you want someone who understands that soul and heart language is different.
And there's something important here as well, and that is that for solo people working through an independent publisher like myself, is that you own the book.
Yes.
It's your content.
Yes.
You know, the big publishing houses, when they work through, they own the book.
I know. Yep. My brother just got his book thing back after years fighting for it. Yes.
Yeah. So you own your book. You decide on the cover. I help you with getting an editor, and I organize for you to get the cover, give you ideas on, you choose.
Right. You're there to put it all together.
All your choice. Yes.
Right. Right. And that's important. People who honor your voice, your vision, you know, and can help you clarify that vision and bring it to the thing, but not somebody. I see this in sites all the time when I'm interviewing people. I look at their site and go, this isn't anything, a reflection of what the person is. And this is just as when you're putting your book out to represent who you are and your business, it has to reflect your heart and soul. So you don't want people to go, oh, this is popular right now, you've got to do it this way, and it ends up being a disconnect to who you are and what you stand for. So your book is an extension of you. Make sure that it does represent you. So that finding a publisher that does that is key, and you've got one right here, dinamarais.com, and she can help you do that. And if you're just in discovery of self and your own beautiful essence, she can help you manifest your own manifestations. And you don't know what that is until you're willing to go down that journey and investigate self and spread your wings and be a little wondered about your own life, right? That's where it starts. So
yeah, it all starts with soul alignment.
Yes.
With aligning with our soul. Yes.
First and foremost key, that is the catalyst to everything. Totally.
Yeah.
Wonderful to have you back here again, Dina. It's been a long time. We're not going to make it so long again. We have to come back again in the future. I love what you're doing with the books. I think it's absolutely great. And as I said, I've already interviewed a couple of other people, and I know what the chapters meant for them to write it, how proud they are to be a part of this book, and the impact that this book is having. And if we're willing to read, folks, not skim, read, and truly let that digest and see the impact it has on your own perceptions of life, you will understand the gift that these people are giving you.
Yes.
There is no fast highway. Slow down, one foot in front of the other, pay attention to your surroundings, get to know how you feel along the way. That self-discovery is going to lead you somewhere absolutely wonderful and into a meaningful purpose. And let these books and let these manifestations help you along the way, because you're not alone, inside or out. Thank you, Dina.
Thank you, Sarah. It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, folks, bye for now. We hope you enjoyed the show. We look forward to bringing you more shows. Please go to selfdiscoverymedia.com/shows and you will see the incredible lineup of genres and shows that we have for you. We are here to make a difference in your life. Thank you for listening.